drive right around midnight. Police tell Valley News Live that a van had just come off of I-94 and was stopped at a red light. Just as it turned green, the driver started to move, and the woman on the bike also started to move through the crosswalk in front of the vehicle. Police tell us her injuries do not appear serious. Breaking overnight, after 5 decades in politics, Joe Biden is on the top of the ticket. Last night, he accepted the Democratic Party's nomination for president in the country's first virtual national convention. In an address reflecting these serious times, Biden pledged to end what he calls an American season of darkness. He blasted President Donald Trump's leadership and promised that, if elected, he would work just as hard for those who did not support him. Biden also pledged to reverse what he called the president's failure to protect America on issues ranging from the pandemic to foreign election interference. It's now 10 minutes before 7. We want to get a check of that first alert storm team forecast as Nathan, look at that. So much fog out there on the sky cam. Where is that?
That's in Devil's Lake, Lisa, and we're seeing this kind of picture in a lot of North Dakota neighborhoods. So a lot of dense fog out there for this morning. Again, 6:50 here on our Friday morning. Look at that clear sky above that fog, but at ground level where, of course, those cars, there's a car right there. You can hardly even see it on the sky cam. So seeing a lot of that dense fog. So if you are traveling out in and about, especially in our North Dakota neighborhoods, here's what you have to contend with is visibilities from 0 to a quarter mile in our North Dakota neighborhoods and even into our northern Minnesota neighborhoods, seeing some reduced visibilities as well. But look at Fargo. We have unlimited visibility here in Fargo, but it's just outside of the city. You get to those 0 mile visibilities, and that does include I-94 from, say, Tower City or so off toward Jamestown. So definitely want to keep that in mind. The dense fog advisory goes until 9 a.m. for those counties shaded in gray, but that goes from, say, Towner County all the way down through the Gwinner area. But even seeing some patchy fog that's dense outside of those gray shaded counties as well. 60 is out the door this morning, 67 in Fargo, 64 Grand Forks and Thief River Falls at this hour. Coolest in Roselle right now at 61 degrees. Satellite and radar is quiet above that fog, but we are seeing some clouds in our out toward the west and even a developing thunder shower cluster here outside of Minot. Watching this one very carefully to see if that does need hold together as it moves into our western neighborhoods, but that's like a splash and dash thunder shower at this point. Big picture shows this line of storms from Williston down through Dickinson. This is bringing us the best chance of showers and storms in our neck of the woods in the evening and late hours tonight. Hour by hour shows how quiet things stay pretty much for the rest of this morning, with temperatures by lunchtime moving into those 70s and 80s. Southeast winds helping to funnel in some more of that heat and humidity. By the 3 o'clock hour, we're seeing some spotty shower activity moving into our western neighborhoods along with those clouds. And as we head toward dinner time or so, we're seeing some more organized clusters of showers and storms. And some of these could be, of course, on the strong to severe side. Mainly hail and wind, the primary concern for us. And not everyone's going to see a storm. Notice how spotty this activity is. So not looking like a widespread storm chance or a widespread severe chance by any means. But those storms that do get going could become potent quickly with how much heat and humidity we have in the air today. Expecting 80s for those highs today to near 90. You can see by midnight some of those showers and storms moving through the northern valley still, but they do look to fizzle out in the early overnight hours tonight. So for the weekend, we have plenty of sunshine expected both days. A chance of a spotty shower or storm though on Sunday. We're in those low to mid 80s for the weekend, and then into next week, plenty of dry time Tuesday. Lisa, looking like the best chance of showers and storms for next week.
Looks great. Thank you, Nathan. There's some fear and disappointment on the University of North Dakota campus. UND is seeing a surge of COVID-19 cases, just as classes are set to start on Monday. 7 people in Greek life on campus tested positive for the virus across 6 different chapters. This as 29 student athletes tested positive earlier this week. Right now, there are 71 active cases at UND. There's been a total of 114 since March. Students and staff who are infected are quarantining. Students say the news is upsetting, but not surprising.
Kind of doesn't really surprise me with the Greek life. That was kind of my biggest concern coming into campus. I think that if there be any way that an outbreak would happen, it would probably be with Greek life.
UND's president says the surge is why they're being so aggressive with testing. They're hoping to identify positive cases and close contacts to isolate and mitigate the spread on campus. Here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for you. The Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 698 new cases and 7 new deaths linked to the illness. More than 60,600 people have recovered. 1,745 deaths have been attributed to the disease. In North Dakota, there are 274 new cases in the state, but no new deaths reported. The death toll remains at 130. The positivity rate is at 3.54%. North Dakota's longest-serving Supreme Court justice expects to be out of the hospital this week to continue his recovery from COVID-19. 87-year-old Justice Gerald Vandewall has been hospitalized at Sanford Health in Bismarck since August 3rd. He says the virus has been much more debilitating than a typical cold or flu and says he's lost a lot of strength while confined to his room. Vandewall says he has been keeping up with his workload, though, reading emails and printed briefs and drafting opinions. Parents of Morehead area school students know that the start of their school year will have a hybrid model, and a lot of things will change, including how your kids get to and from school. The Valley Today's Brian Sherrod got a little more information on bus routes and what it will look like inside those school buses as well when school starts next month. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Lisa. You know, the bus schedules are going to change, and one of the things is that I remember growing up myself and being able to choose who I sat by at the bus stop, and these kids are not going to be able to have the same planned experiences that we did. But what we can tell them is what some of those changes will be in the next upcoming weeks when they do decide to ride the bus. It is up to Morehead area school districts to determine the number of students per bus, but we do know it will be at 50% capacity. Students of the same household will need to sit together. Buses will be disinfected following each route, with special attention provided to high-touch areas. There are IEP or 504 accommodations for those students that need them. For ventilation purposes, windows and roof latches will be partially open. The bus driver will even require 6 feet of social distancing around them. Now, if the kids that are up this morning want to try to understand the rules a little more, there will be signage displayed to explain that to you. And if you're still a little confused, ask your bus driver. They will know as well. Now, for the parents, go on Morehead Public Schools website so you can know where your kids are getting dropped off, where they're getting picked up. It will also explain to them so that children know where they need to be each morning, just in case you might not be there when you need to go to the bus stop. There is a silver lining as well. Maybe there's a neighbor that you didn't get a chance to meet yet, or maybe it's a neighbor you weren't close with. You get a chance to sit by them on the bus, so that's pretty exciting. Or even better, a sibling that you can get closer with on the bus stop as well. So either way, you know, you're going to either make a new friend or bond with your sibling.
I like that. Brian reporting live for us this morning. Thank you. One Fargo mom isn't too happy about plans to start the school year with the hybrid learning system. She wants her kids in class 5 days a week, and she's rallying other parents through an online petition, saying child care centers like the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club are scrambling to find space. She wants kids in schools most of the week, with another day set aside to sanitize and clean.
Then we have schools that are all filtering into these child cares. And all we're doing is sharing more germs. And sure, they're going to do their part and masking and washing and things like that. But how is that keeping our teachers any more safe?
The school district says the goal is to return to full in-person learning as soon as it's safe for all students and staff. To find a link to the petition and the statement from the Fargo Public School District, just look for this story on your VNL News app. FM colleges are welcoming back students as well. They're back on campus this week. At MSUM, the Welcome Week tradition continues as they try to create a friendly COVID-19 campus experience. NDSU moved students in differently as well this year because of the pandemic, spreading things out over 3 days and scheduling appointments to try and limit the crowds. This created a much different atmosphere than the normal move-in day. Both schools had social distancing and masking recommendations in place to help ensure a safe return to campus for students and staff. Fargo could have a new police chief on Monday. If he's hired, he says he wants to put body cameras on officers right away. City commissioners will vote on a recommendation to hire Dave Zablowski as the city's new top cop. He has more than 30 years of experience in law enforcement and is currently a police chief in a city in Wisconsin. He tells us body cameras will help with transparency and building trust within the department and throughout the community. He would be making between $150,000 and $165,000 a year. A downtown Fargo landmark is temporarily closing its doors. The Hotel Donaldson has shut down its lounge, hotel, and restaurant. A Facebook post doesn't say when they will reopen or what caused the move. An earlier post on August 2nd said it temporarily closed down when a Hodo employee tested positive for COVID-19. Here's the latest on a house fire in Grand Forks that we first told you about last week. Investigators now say all of this damage was caused by improper disposal of a cigarette. Firefighters rushed to the 1600 block of 38th Street last Wednesday, and as you can see in this picture, the house was pretty much destroyed. Luckily, no one was hurt. A lot of people in West Fargo already know it, and now a national study is spreading the word. 24/7 Wall Street just named West Fargo the best city to live in North Dakota. The city gets high marks for population growth, median household income, and median home value. West Fargo is the second fastest growing community on the list and is adding jobs rapidly, with the unemployment rate being 75% lower than the national rate. The report also notes West Fargo's poverty rate is nearly half the 14.1% national rate. If you want to read the full report, you can find it at valleynewslive.com. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Today's question: a study found that we do this 20% more on the weekends than we do on the weekdays. This does not surprise me. I would think maybe a bigger percentage. It's Friday and I'm smiling as we head on into the weekend. That's the answer to today's question. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but remember, the Valley Today rolls on. Join us for more live, up-to-the-minute news and weather right now on the Fargo CW. Have a great day, everyone.